Here's my IBM 760XL. Unfortunately, the 2.1 gigabyte hard drive just isn't cutting it anymore. I've managed to fill it up with all my cool stuff. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to upgrade the hard drive to the maximum allowed by the BIOS without using an overlay program. Now, just a little bit of backstory. Well, not really. You can upgrade the drive to as big as you want, anything that will support the IDE bus, with an overlay program which partitions the drive into 6 gigabyte slices. 2 gigabyte slices. What we're going to do is we're going to install this IBM Travel Star. This drive was manufactured in March of 1999 and has a capacity of 6.49 gigabytes. Theoretically, the BIOS is supposed to allow an 8 gig drive, but 6.49 is big enough. I believe 8.1 is where it cuts off. It says, no, sorry, you cannot use this drive, you moron. So what we're going to do is pop the drive out by lifting the hood and pulling the drive caddy out of its slot. Now, remember, this is a laptop that took a little bit of a... Well, it was baptized by a can of ginger ale, and it survived after I disassembled and cleaned the motherboard off. So we're going to just stuff it aside for now. We're going to push it back. And we're going to make sure that we have a couple of things on hand. And I don't. In this bag, we have the original floppy disk drive option. We have the original boot CD. And the driver for our Zircom Ethernet adapter. We also have all the recovery software. Pretty cool. We also want to make sure that we have a couple of other items. A replacement hard drive, for example, and the original hard drive with caddy assembly. We also need a knife. That should do it. So what we're going to do is take our murderous weapon and we're going to open it up like so. If anyone thinks they're going to burglarize my house at night, think again. Not that there's anything worth stealing, but whatever. So the drive is sealed with this adhesive stuff. Actually, I should be using a razor blade. But what we need to do essentially, and I'm not going to show this on camera because it's going to be time consuming, but we need to cut from here to here. We need to cut this seal on both sides and do it in a manner that doesn't make it look obvious. Because this is still a collector's item, I don't want to completely destroy my hard drive caddy. In fact, if I had my druthers, I'd buy another caddy just for this purpose, but the only one I found on eBay is $25, and that's about $20 more than the laptop is worth. So let's go ahead and cut the tape. This knife still has some dried blood on it from the last guy who pissed me off, and it's not really sharp enough to do the job. So we're going to need a sharper knife. Hold on a second. It really is a cool knife. I don't know where I got it from. It's been through hell and back, though. Okay, so I got a nice, fresh razor blade from the package. And we're going to cut gently. There we go. We're cutting, we're cutting, we're cutting. Do-do-do-do-do. See, IBM didn't really want you to do this. They wanted to be able to sell you the entire drive caddy with the drive in it. They were sold as upgrade options. And I don't think they really released anything bigger than the 2.1. But we're going to nicely, evenly, carefully cut this seal here. Okay. The screws to hold the caddy shut are underneath this part of the label, which I can peel up fairly easily, just on the corners, to reveal a screw head. See? Okay. And that's going to be a fairly less obvious disassembly attempt. And the two nuts supporting the drive, or actually underneath that little connector bar, are going to fall out. Okay. At this point, the drive cover should be able to be taken off fairly easily. A couple of things. The first thing you've got to do is remove the connector. And that can be gently pried off using a flat blade screwdriver. Then, once you get the cover worked up like this, you'll notice that it catches in the back here. So as you're pulling up gently, take your flat blade screwdriver and stick it behind the cover, and it will come off. Do this very gently because this is plastic and it is very old, and it will crack if you're not careful. I don't recall this being so fragile when I was doing them 12 years ago, but then again, that was 12 years ago. So as these laptops age, they will get even harder to service. It's kind of depressing, but it's true. Kind of like an old car. Parts get harder to find, and damage is more likely to happen. Okay. Alright, this is not something that IBM wanted their customers doing. Once again, their business was in selling whole modules and not servicing partial modules. They didn't like doing that. That was not their thing. So anyway, we're almost there. Got the cover partway removed. And by the way, you know, it doesn't matter what brand drive you use. As long as it's a standard ATA drive, it'll work. It doesn't have to be an IBM or any other brand. In fact, let's see what's even in here. I bet it's something weird. I am legitimately concerned that a drive of a different actual form factor will have a hard time fitting. Okay, here we have the original drive. It's an IBM, naturally, made in June of '97. And yeah, there it is, 2 gigs. Unfortunately, the replacement we have is a half-height model, so I'm wondering how well this is going to work, if at all. I have my doubts. I really do. This is an atypical caddy design, and it's designed to be mounted upside down, like so that the connector... I might actually have to shim this sucker. Well, that just sucks, man. Because when I put the drive in, look at how it sits in the caddy. So we're going to have to shim it, man. Aw, man. I could put 2 hard drives in there, actually. I bet that'll... Okay. If I put 2 drives in there... Trying to find another 6 gigabyte full height drive is going to be impossible, so I'm going to have to make do with what we got here. Now if I stack 2, yeah, see it's a little bit taller, just by a bit. There's got to be a way around this. There has to be. I don't want such a highly capable laptop with such a tiny little hard drive, you know? So what we'll do, I have an idea. I have a perfect idea. Yes, and it's just crazy enough to work. So by taping the drive to the underside of the cover with electrical tape, sure, it looks like hell, but it'll work. I'm sure. I'm sure. So we're going to pop this back in. Carefully. Still working on it. Oh, almost there. Hey, look at that. Okay, then we're going to take our screws, put those back in place. The thing is, the 6 gig drive is just too small for what I want to use this laptop for, and I mean the 2 gig. 6 gig is more than big enough. And I don't want to take the drive out of my my compact LTE, which I believe is the same size, but I've just shaved a little bit of weight off the laptop in the process. So, winning. Now we're going to take some electrical tape and seal up the edges of the cover, make it look like an OEM job. Just kidding. I'm going to get some scissors. Okay. I'll probably wind up reversing this decision, but hey, it was fun while it lasted, right? Let's see. Now, a word of caution. Now, if you're going to do this to your laptop, don't even think about going through airport security, because you're just not going to make it, son. They're going to flag that laptop like a red-headed stepchild. I don't know if that analogy works in this situation, but it sounded good at the time. We're going to gently peel off what was left of the adhesive. I just started doing that now on the edges, so that our electrical tape has a nice smooth place to adhere to. But seriously though, if you're going to do this to your Thinkpad 760, don't even try. They are going to arrest you and pat you and molest you so hard, you're going to wish you were never born. Because anything like this that someone tries to board a plane with, yeah, don't. Just don't. Instead, bring the vintage laptop that doesn't have the hard drive that looks suspiciously bad. Alright. Get that tape on there too. Make it look nice and pretty. Pretty redneck, that's what it looks like. Okay, there we go. Of course, we covered up the 2.1 gigabyte sticker, but that's okay because it's not a 2.1 gigabyte anymore. That doesn't matter. But it looks good. It should work. There's no reason in hell why it wouldn't work. So, all right, pop it open. I bet you that drive is still bootable from whatever it was in before. It was actually in a Toshiba before. That much I know. And don't forget to put your handle back on, as I almost did. Little wire handle. The hallmark of the 760XL. Putting the handle back right now. Nothing to see here. Okay, now we're going to slide it in very carefully. Alright. Alright. Now what we need to do is start it up. See if the BIOS detects the drive first. If it doesn't, then, well, whoops, we're screwed. Well, I'm screwed, not you. It's going to say, we're sorry, this is not the right drive. My dishwasher is so loud. Come on. Does that drive even work? Oh, Nikes. The drive is bad. Are you kidding me? Listen to that. Aw, son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. I can swear it's my channel. And I just did all this work for nothing. Well, folks, sometimes, you know, in the world of life, things don't work out as planned. And this is one of those times. I'm now going to show you how to put the original drive back in. Really? Oh, man, all that work for nothing. And I modified and hacked up my little drive caddy for nothing. Well, there's a lesson to be learned here, guys. Before installing a hard drive, make sure the son of a bitch works before you go through all the trouble. It just makes common sense. Apparently, common sense that was lost on me when I had the brilliant idea of doing this. Unbelievable. Well, okay, at least a caddy's easier to take apart now. Aw, shucks. You suck. You suck. You suck. You suck. You suck. You suck. Suck, suck, suck. You. You really, really suck. Okay, I'm done with that. I'm now putting my original drive back in because I am a failure. Well, not me, but this drive is. I can't believe that. To think, I've been storing dead drives in my little parts bin all this time. Oh. Okay. Well, that's right. The connector's got to come off first. The drive won't come out otherwise. Just pry it off carefully. Do not get between the printed board and the connector. Don't do that. You will be very, very, very unhappy with the results. Okay. Alright. Well, that drive is toast. Well, now that my stories are on, I'm going to put this all away. But we're going to put this all back together again and put the original 2 gig, and it's just going to stay that way until I find another drive. So, well, it was fun while we tried. Okay. Back together, sealed up, screwed, glued, and have you. Alright. Boom. Put that in there, put that there, put that there. Wait, what? Okay, there we go. Okay. Let's just make sure the damn thing still works. $81 megs of RAM. Best investment ever. It had, I think it had 16 megs when I bought it. That was the stock configuration. A little angry that I had to cut up my hard drive caddy, but, you know, things happen. Alright, it's booting up. I think we're good to go. Alright, until then. Okay, we're back. This is round 2. I went to work. By the way, this is the next day. I ran over to work and I found this. It's yet another 6 gig drive, and I have my blade. There it is. This is a 6 gig Travel Star, not unlike the one we tried earlier. I'm going to pop it out of its caddy. This was a working pull from an Acer, 514 I think, or 512, something or other. We're going to pop this in there. I say it was a working pull, but that was as of about maybe 7 years ago. Sorry, years ago. Alright, so we're going to give this the old college try. And we're going to throw away all the evidence. I don't need any of that. Okay, so a thought has occurred to me. Sometimes that happens. I could screw the drive in to the cover from the bottom. Oh, well, yeah, from the top going into the bottom of the drive. Just close that up so nothing happens to it. I don't want to kill my pride and joy. So here's the drive caddy. We're going to take this back apart. I'm going to put this drive in. Okay, so I've got the drive in the caddy exactly as I want it to be. The right height, perfect height too. And I'll show you how I did it. Yeah, a little less of that, huh? Not one word about the tripod. The first person to mention the word tripod gets banned from my channel. Because I'm that much of a prick. So this is what I did. I used a piece of marble. Just kidding. It's actually leftover flooring from when I did my kitchen floor 5 years ago. And there's actually 3 layers there. And it meets the exact thickness with an added bonus. It keeps the weight of the assembly exactly as heavy as it would have been with the original drive. Pretty cool. But no. It looked cool, so I did it. There. Alright. Now, got to get the cover back on. And I've got to get the connector back on. So actually, I've got to take the drive back. Okay, we're all sealed up and ready to go. And one of the hidden benefits of using flooring is that it's actually very spill resistant. So if anything were to spill inside the drive, it can easily be cleaned up. I made sure to put a coat of Armstrong floor wax on it just to be sure. And now, let's see what happens, huh? If I'm not mistaken, that drive actually has Windows 2000 on it. Come on, spin up, you. Come on. Here it goes. NT loader is missing. Press any key to restart. We want to make sure that BIOS is aware of the new drive, so we're going to restart, Control-Delete, and go into System BIOS. I believe it's F1. It's either F1 or F2 on this model. Come on, there we go. Yeah, yeah. No, okay. Alright. Let's try F2 exclusively. It could be delete. I don't remember. Now it should ask me. Come on. There we go. Error. I don't want to restart. Come on. Damn it. There we are again. Okay. Got in. We're in. No. Let's see. Start up. Actually, no, I want floppy disk as number 1. Boom. Floppy. Hard disk. Doesn't support booting off a CD-ROM, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay. Test. HDD1. We'll do a quick diagnostic on it. That sounds looking wonderful. And this means everything's going to be all right. Now we're going to rebuild the system onto a new drive. So the drive is securely assembled using methods that only I can come up with. But it is secured, and the good thing about that is the way I did it, the machine will maintain its original weight for the most part. Got my recovery disc, my recovery CD, my Zircom installation CD, and my floppy drive. These are all things you're going to need to recover the old IBM. I'm going to save the original hard drive in a static-proof bag for historical reasons. I mean, why get rid of it, right? So let's shut her down. We need to put the floppy drive module in. Okay. Now, the way the recovery works on this machine is that I don't know if you can even do it without a CD-ROM drive. I imagine if you bought the machine without the CD-ROM, they would have shipped you a stack of diskettes about that high. So what we're going to be doing is tossing in the floppy drive, which contains, or will contain, a bootable diskette. And that diskette, keep these screwdrivers away from it because they are pseudo-magnetic. Now this diskette, if ever lost, I may never ever be able to replace, which really sucks. But all it really does, well, you'll see in a minute. Okay, here we go. But that, I was actually very pleased with how that came out. I mean, there really is no good way. Let's be honest with ourselves. There is no good way of stuffing a half-height hard drive into a full-size caddy that was never designed to accept one. And the way the caddy was made, you can't just screw in a smaller drive. You have to make up the difference somehow. I was either going to use anti-static foam that I don't have, or linoleum flooring, which I do have. With the added benefit of it being able to maintain the ballast. Because in order for this machine to function and be open like that and do all it has to do, you have to have enough weight on the front end so that you can open it up without it tipping over. And a lot of that weight comes from the internal hard disk drive. Okay. See what happens. So what it does is it's going to load the recovery. Oh, it's going to format it first. Ooh. Okay, we need to run fdisk on this drive because it's only designed for 2 GB drives or smaller. So this drive needs to be fdisked with extended drives and partitions. To do that, I'm going to grab a boot disk. Okay, I was looking for my my copy of fdisk, and I've discovered something as I came down here. This drive is no good. Sorry, guys. The drive is junk. Which might explain why it was in my parts bin. So, when I see things like recovering sector whatever 7G, that's an instant omen that the drive has bad sectors. That's a bad thing. I have one more drive to test. This is a Travel Star. There's my 30. I had a 4 gig here somewhere. Let me go find it. I also want to show you another drive that I have. This one here is actually a mid-height. Now, alright, so you got your full height, which was original equipment, and then you've got this, and there's the drive we're trying to put in. You can see there's 3 different height differences. So we're going to try this next one. This is a Travel Star from a very similar, it's a 4.32 gig, made in March of '99, and this is also from an Acer. And not an Acer, yeah, it was an Acer actually. Yep. And I'm going to take this adhesive off of it. Alright, here we go. Round. Alright, I'm not going to make the same mistake of last. I'm going to be doing this commando style. No caddy, no problem. If the drive works, and that's a big if, then we'll transplant it into the caddy. But until that moment occurs, no thank you. Alright, I need to find a copy of an MS-DOS boot disk. I know I've got one. Okay, here we go. Now this is a sealed copy of Windows 95 version C, which was the last version of Windows to be released. And it was sealed up until now. Alright. Now this boot disk will have a copy of F-disk, which will allow us to partition the drive properly. Oh no. Ah. You know, guys. Okay. Here's the deal. This ain't gonna happen. It turns out all of my drives are dead. They are all bad. They're bad on the inside, and they're bad on the outside. No, they're just bad. So, I guess we're not going to be upgrading the hard drive on the 760XL. It's just not going to happen. Unbelievable. Now, that other drive it showed some promise to it. Unfortunately, it just wasn't gonna happen. The drive was actually in the process of failing, but the other ones have already failed. So I guess out comes the custom flooring job, and in goes the original undefeated champion of the world hard drive. Un-effing believable. I guess you can't beat the classics. I fold. Okay, so after 3 hard drive failures in a row, yes, folks, that was 3 in a row. Tic-tac, freaking toe. We're going to try the original drive just to make sure it didn't die. Because I have one more drive, if that goes. Although it's only a 1.42. It groans to life. Alright, I'm satisfied. It works. Thank God. And now to vent my frustrations.
piece of cake.
Here we go.
Hey, those Indian bastards in that cave